Well, hi, I'm Ben Mott, President of Green Lake Conference Centre, and this is an update for the Board of Directors and our staff, both paid and volunteered, because simply put, this has been one of the most busy, productive winters we've had in my memory of 21 years serving here, which has been really, really exciting. But has also meant I've not done a particularly good job of slowing us all down for an all-staff coffee to grab a coffee and catch up and reflect, or to do board updates. So we're going to do that now. From 2020 to 2021, with this COVID opportunity that's very unique, we tackled about 55 projects that got completed in those 2 years. God gave us the manna after bringing us through the Red Sea, where COVID could have potentially ended the history of the conference center and shut us down. Instead, he sustained us, and we had enough money and resources to tackle a string of projects, from new front desk reservation software to new accounting software, new Roger Williams in roof and electrical panel, roads, more roofs, home key locks, and so much more. So we checked those off. And then at the beginning of 2022, we began another 2 years with this same vision of getting better and simpler as an operation so that the mission could grow, particularly looking from the guest perspective. How do we get better and simpler from our guest group perspective? So, in these 2 years, we've identified 92 projects that we're seeking to tackle. At the October 2022 board meeting, we reported out to the board that 31 of those projects were done. And so the focus in this update is to look at projects we've made progress on since the fall 2022 board meeting. And that encompasses 41 different projects where we've made progress, finished them, or we're well underway, or done the research to get started. So what we're going to do today is just give you a quick update as to what's happening in some of these different areas around the grounds and off the grounds. So starting off the grounds, Matt Becker has traveled literally thousands of miles to college campuses, Christian college campuses, as well as all sorts of networking locally, seeking to engage our team in hiring the team we need so that the mission can grow. Specifically, in the last 60 days, we've added 2 assistant director level staff members to help Brian Brock lead the housekeeping team. So we built out a whole leadership team where we didn't have one, and exec staff had to drop in to run housekeeping last summer. We now have an excellent team of a director and Brian and 2 assistant directors to lead that team. In maintenance, we've just added, starting this week, a new full-time maintenance generalist leader. We're very happy to say that John Otto is continuing to stick around and engage service on a part-time role. This is also backfilling and adding other duties in that area. And then Matt Becker with the SALT ministry, Serving and Learning Together, student ministry, as well as seasonal and volunteer hires, has been adding team members and recruiting for spring, summer, and fall. So it's so much fun as I sit in my office and the doors open and people wander along the corridor, and Matt introduces yet another great staff member. Really, really exciting, and another miracle of God's provision, given that globally, if you travel around the world, hiring in the hospitality field is tricky. God is sustaining us with just enough manna to keep us going. Not extra, but just enough. So next, looking at the physical property, first of all, to touch on the very large theme of water. Our water tower was fully finished just shortly after the October board meeting. The old one used to leak a lot. So one of the things that's interesting that happens with a new water tower that'll have a 100-year lifespan and doesn't leak is that when all of a sudden we're quiet with guests and there's a large amount of water usage, we know there's a problem somewhere else on grounds. So Bob Sonnenberg and John Otto went out and found 2 different leaks together with Mike Mastow, and in the middle of the winter, in the tough Wisconsin winter conditions, fixed those leaks back by the campground and see Oscar Johnson. Also, with added pressure boosters and a better water system, faucets start to leak, and so Bob Sonnenberg this winter completed this major project of replacing the Roger Williams in faucets. And there's an awful lot of them, and some of them have been stuck on there a while. He's done a great job. One unwanted piece of water became a part of our Christmas Eve celebration for some of us, so got the chance to come in at 11 o'clock at night on Christmas Eve as there was a major leak in the office as you'd walk into the side entrance, the office and the basement stairway. Our maintenance team is blessed by the fact that Mike Orovec has a background in helping properties recover from disastrous flooding, and so he did a great job leading the team on fixing all of that for a very modest cost considering the potential damage. Unclean water also needs to get out of here, and dirt needs to get dealt with. So at the Risden Rec Centre there's a brand new sewer lift station. So these are pumps that remove sewage from the main conference area. A major project that's been completed, far easier to service and very well engineered. Mike Masto's done a great job pulling all of our team together and outside experts and board member Dave Wilkerson to specify just the right pumps and solution. And lastly, out at Risden Rec Centre, the staff laundry is being built. This is for student staff and volunteer staff, and that is being developed in the old women's bathroom, and then the men's bathroom, which was huge because it used to be a swimming pool, is divided into a men's and a women's room. Out at housekeeping, going a little bit further out, the laundry movement system within the laundry center is all being optimized with folding tables and carts and great organization. The garage bay's all been finished out so that in all seasons, be it -10 or chucking it down with rain in the summer, the van can come in to unload in comfortable conditions using carts. And the whole concept of this system is sliding and rolling laundry rather than lifting it across all of the different buildings and geography of the campus for a colossal energy savings. The remaining exterior skin of the transformed building will be going on this spring. So as temperatures warm up, hopefully very soon, you'll see work continue there. Then moving out to houses and some of the guest finishes that guests would experience. Out at Christian Writing Center, Marty Wolf's led the food service team in repainting the apartment. Dan Cundy has led flooring contractors on some flooring upgrades. Marty himself has been refinished countertops. Dan Cundy had a skylight replaced out there. So it's undergone a transformation. Coming up next, in the Writing Center itself, the team led an oven replacement in the winter, and with your carpet is coming up to expose the original 1930s hardwood floor, with donors giving new furniture in there. We also had a gift for Peniston Wilson for new living room furniture and carpet, and that is being chosen. And lastly, an additional donor is helping up at the Roger Williams Inn Penthouse to put back a 1920s and 30s story in there with Art Deco lighting that's been sourced, an antique sofa that's being sourced, and different finishes that just put charm and period finishes into that very special space. And last, but definitely not least, there's a large amount of work going on at Volunteer Apartment House 1 with painting, new lighting coming in and seating and all sorts of upgrades and finish and attention going on to that space for our very important volunteers. At Lawson Lodge, 6 more of the 10 rooms are being fully transformed with a gut job and new tile and bathrooms and finishes to provide some of the finest lakeshore rooms you can rent on the lake anywhere. They're absolutely gorgeous and guests will love them. There's been Wi-Fi upgrades going into Kernorm Bower. That's probably one of the most challenging projects we've had in the COVID era because we ordered equipment almost 2 years ago now and are still waiting for some of that to come in, but we're persisting. Out in the forestry areas, we're seeing some different clearing of woods, and what we're trying to do is thin out the forestry and deal with the invasive species that are highly prevalent on this property and create an oakland savanna whereby you remove the invasive species and there's a mixture of oak trees and plenty of sunlight to allow a canopy to grow beneath. So, since 2020, all of this work to get better and simpler has been so that our mission, being to provide a special Christian environment of hospitality, renewal, equipping, networking, and stewardship that helps people find God's better version of themselves and their world, can grow here at Green Lake. We had this great reminder last week of the most joyful Christian women's retreat that was here all week, smiling, and they were just reflecting on 2 marvelous things about Green Lake that made it such a special place for them to be. They reflected on the beauty of the grounds and how well the place is looked after. Secondly, they reflected on the warm hospitality and Christian welcome of everybody who served them. And oh, there was one other thing. There was a third thing that they just loved too. The fact that we brought back scooped ice cream once a day in the dining room for meals. They just had the most wonderful week. It's why we do what we do, and we're so excited for the summer. So thank you very much to all of our staff for such a hard-working winter. It's brought so many steps forward and sets up a very exciting spring, summer and fall. So enjoy the rest of your staff coffee until we meet again in person. Cheers. Or tea.